Chapter 2 Fear on Drake's Landing. Tija winced in pain as she stood up from the cold street and spat a dark glob of blood onto the ground. She wiped her mouth on a long black glove covering her right arm, too dark to show the other villagers the strangely dark color of her blood. Just another oddity about her that people ridiculed her for. She briefly considered the remarkably dark blood she'd spat out, then dismissed it and moved on. She knew that the fight was partly her fault, but she couldn't stand their cruelty towards a local dog. The kids thought they could bully someone smaller than them just because they could do magic now. Tija had always been smaller than other kids and a target for bullies due to her physical scars. For a while, she endured the abuse and cowered away from those who attacked her. But nobody helped her. Not even teachers or adults, and her own parents ignored her problems. When she started fighting back, the kids cried to the adults, and Tija got in trouble. The situation only worsened as time went on, and now everyone in the village saw her as a troublemaker. Tija, however, saw herself as a defender who needed to teach bullies that they couldn't pick on someone smaller or weaker than them. Now, Tija was in pain and wondered if her ribs were broken. She looked up at the sky in the direction of the rider who had vanished from view. New Hope, her village, was young, and she had heard that hers was the first generation of children born there. As far as she knew, no rider had ever visited the village before. It was a curiosity for her, and likely for all New Hope. Tija expected the whole village to turn out to see who had come to visit their tiny home. She was curious, but also didn't want to run into her father there. The large crowd would make it easy to hide, though, so she decided to go. Tija made her way up to Drake's Landing in the worship, which was the third tier up from the mountain's base. With her side laced in pain, she had to stop at several points to catch her breath. She finally made it to the top and saw a large crowd gathered around the open worship, a building without walls. It was blasphemous to build walls in such a place, as it would keep out the blessings of the founders. Here, the village gathered to greet the new arrival. As Tija slowly pushed her way into the crowd, she heard someone say, "A marshal." Tija had only heard stories about marshals from her father, a legendary order of slayers of beasts. The stories were filled with pain and death, and they were usually the harbingers of it all. The thought flashed in her mind of the kids picking on the dog, and she wondered why a marshal would come here. Why? Tija wondered aloud. Tija? Her brother Gale's voice interrupted her thoughts. Ignoring Gale's call, Tija hurriedly pushed through the crowd, trying to avoid him. Gale reminded her of their father, whom he spent most of his time with now. Tija used to love him before their sister's death, but now everyone in town feared and hated her. When Gale called for their father, Tija cursed her luck. She knew better than to expect help from anyone here, and if her father was here, then there would be trouble for her. If she got caught.